Digital products are a big seller on Etsy, and one of the most reliably best-selling categories in this arena is clip art. Now, with the help of AI, making quality clip art bundles is easier than ever. In today's video, we'll have a look at some top-selling trends in Christmas-themed clip art, and then I'll take you through a step-by-step tutorial on how to make your own clip art bundles using this free tool on Canva. Let's jump in. Okay, so here we are on Etsy, and as you can see, there are tons of options for Christmas-themed clip art bundles. We see a lot of popular now and bestseller badges on this first page. We are mid-November, heading right into the Christmas season, so obviously these are going to be quite popular right now. But let's have a look at a few examples in particular to give us some inspiration. Starting with this bundle, which is a watercolor Christmas mouse clip art bundle with over 30 images included, and it has a set of images that are Christmas themed mice doing various things, as well as some elements that accompany this, like Christmas trees and Christmas cottages, etc., but all have this kind of Christmas mouse theme. And what I really like that they've done with their cover listing photo is they've compiled this really beautiful image using a bunch of the different clip art images all together to create this really beautiful looking collage. Certainly caught my eye when I was scrolling through, so that might be something to think about when you're creating your listing photos. Make your cover photo really beautiful, as this seller has done. And this is in 20 plus baskets right now. If we look at our Everbee stats, we see that this is only 3 months old, so a very new listing, and it's already sold 94 times with a monthly revenue of just under $300. So this listing is doing very well for this shop already. Next, we have this set of 24 Nutcracker PNGs, and this has this very cute kind of cartoony watercolor aesthetic to these images. Let's have a look at a couple of the listing photos here. So yeah, just a very cute kind of hand-drawn / watercolor aesthetic with these cute kind of smiley faces. So I really like those designs, and this is quite popular right now. It's in 20 plus baskets. And our Everbee stats are letting us know this is a really new listing. It's only been up for 1 month, and it's sold 14 times already with a monthly revenue of $67 so far. Next, we have this set of 10 sleeping Christmas deer illustrations. So really cute illustrations of sleeping deer surrounded by Christmas ephemera like presents and snow and pine cones. And we'll just click through and look at a couple of the other images here. Really beautiful. You can see someone who's really into crafting or card making, finding good use for these images. And it really is a nice combination of the cute animal theme with Christmas. And this is in 20 plus baskets right now. It's been up for a year and has sold 69 times with a monthly revenue of $104. Next, we have this set of 30 PNG files called Christmas Shenanigans, and this has a more kind of cartoon themed watercolor aesthetic with these really cute animals and Santa and elves doing really cute Christmassy things. Let's have a look at a listing photo here. So they basically just laid out a bunch of the images so the customer can see all the different clip art images they'll receive with this bundle. And super cute. This had 20 plus views in the last 24 hours. And a really new listing again. This has only been up for a month with 28 sales already and a monthly revenue of $77. So I hope these examples are showing you that even brand new listings can do really well right now. I would definitely recommend getting these Christmas themed ones up right away, as we are mid-November already. Next, we have this set of 20 Santa Claus clip art images, and these have these really beautiful vintage watercolor aesthetic to them. They have a really nice vintage feel, and they each feature Santa in a different pose here. Here he is sticking out his tongue with a bird on his hand, holding a kitten. So Santa Claus with an animal seems to be the theme here. And this is doing really well. It's in 20 plus baskets. It's only been up for 4 months and has sold 75 times already with a monthly revenue of $156. And one thing I wanted to point out, when you're selling clip art, A lot of times you'll want to sell your clip art with a transparent background, but you can also sell these images with a white background. Sometimes when you're creating, especially watercolor style images using AI, when you get these kind of watercolor edges here, which are really beautiful, sometimes when you remove the background, it creates a not so nice looking edge sometimes and creates problems in terms of being able to create a really clean looking PNG. So what you can do is actually sell these with the white background. You just have to specify in your listing that this doesn't have a transparent background but actually has a white background like this listing does. As you can see here in the listing description, it says what's included. It tells you exactly what the images are, including the fact that it comes with a white background, not transparent. So I just want you to keep that in mind because sometimes the images you create won't remove the background in a clean way. You do have the option of selling them with the background that AI generates, but just make sure you let your customers know. Next, we have this set of Christmas cocktail PNGs. There's 40 PNGs included in this set, and I think this is a really smart way to go with Christmas themed clip art bundles because something like this, Christmas cocktails, people who are making their own invitations or bar lists, that kind of thing, are really looking for this type of image to use on their own products. And this seller has come up with a list of different kind of holiday or Christmas themed cocktails. You could use ChatGPT to help you come up with those ideas, and then again using AI to create the actual images of those cocktails. These ones are really beautifully done, really kind of classy, minimal looking images that I could see a lot of people getting nice use out of. They've included this image of a possible invitation someone could make with one of the images, which I think is a really smart thing to do. This is in 16 baskets right now. It's only been up for 1 month and has sold 11 times already. And again, it is in 16 baskets, so that lets us know something like this very much is in demand. And lastly, we have this set of 26 Christmas beige village clip art images. And this kind of beige or neutral tone aesthetic is really popular in a lot of categories of clip art, but I think certainly for Christmas themed images, this could do really well. People are really looking for this kind of soft, neutral palette aesthetic. So something to really think about. And this is just a set of really beautiful little Christmas village images, quite simple, clean aesthetic. And again, this would be great for someone making invitations or card making or that kind of thing. And I believe these mostly would come with a white background as well. And this is a perfect example of one of those types of images with these little dots in the background that probably wouldn't make for a really clean looking PNG in terms of having a transparent background, but you can make this kind of image with the white background and sell them as is. So now that we have some inspiration on Christmas themed clip art that's selling well currently on Etsy, let's head over to ChatGPT and then Canva to create our own clip art bundle. So to create our own Christmas themed clip art bundle, we're going to start here on ChatGPT, and we're going to use Chat to help us generate a list of prompts that we'll then use to plug into our Canva AI program to actually create our images. So this is the prompt I'm typing into ChatGPT here. It says, I am creating a set of clip art images to sell as digital downloads in my Etsy shop. Please help me generate a series of 10 prompts using the theme of woodland Christmas. I want the images to have a whimsical, hand-drawn watercolor aesthetic with a slightly vintage feel. Each image should feature a different woodland animal wearing a Christmas item like a scarf, toque, or Santa hat, or surrounded by Christmas-themed things like presents, candy canes, ornaments, etc. Include as much detail as possible in each prompt. Be sure to include in each prompt that the image should be isolated against a white background. And that's going to be important in case we do want to have our images be PNGs with a transparent background. Like I mentioned, some of the images may look better with a white background, so we'll see what happens in Canva and we'll decide from there. But this is the prompt that I've given ChatGPT, and then I'll just hit enter and see what ChatGPT comes up with for our list of prompts. Okay, so ChatGPT has done its thing, and let's scroll through quickly right here. And yes, we have 10 prompts. Let's read this first one and see what the details are here. So number one is a Christmas fox with presents, and the prompt will be a whimsical hand-drawn watercolor illustration of a charming woodland fox sitting gracefully in the snow, wearing a cozy knitted red and cream Fair Isle scarf. Surround the fox with vintage-style Christmas presents wrapped in craft paper, twine, and muted red ribbons. Add subtle watercolor pine needles, holly sprigs, and tiny golden stars painted with a faded vintage texture. Soft, dreamy shadows beneath the fox, isolated on a white background. So that sounds quite lovely and promising. And if we scroll through, we can see chat has generated a different animal for each prompt, which is really nice. So we've got a deer, a raccoon, a bunny, a hedgehog, a wise owl, a squirrel, a bear cub, a moose calf, and a badger. So I think that's going to make for a really nice set of images. So now that we have that, let's head over to Canva and get started on generating the actual images. Okay, so here in Canva, I've created a new document at 4000 by 4000 pixels, which is in general a good size for Clipart images. I will be upscaling my images a bit later on, but I'll get into that. And I do have to point out that I do have a Canva Pro plan. So for AI image generation, there is a certain amount of generations built into the Pro plan. So it's somewhat free. I mean, you're paying your monthly subscription, but it's part of that subscription. So if you're using a free Canva plan, you will get a very limited amount of AI generations, and after that, you'll start having to pay for them. So I wanted to point that out. So it is somewhat free for people who have the Pro plan and not so much for people on the free plan. But to start, I'm going to scroll down here on the menu on the left-hand side and click on Magic Media. And that brings up this section here. And there's a few different types of images that you can generate. There's a section called just images, a section called graphics, videos, and 3D. So you can actually even generate AI videos in Canva now, which is really cool. And I wanted to show you some of the styles available in the images and graphics category, because this is something you're going to want to play around with a little bit to see what works for you in terms of the different types of clip art bundles you might be interested in selling. So under images, I'm just going to click in styles, and that brings up the different categories of image styles available. So we have photography, and under that we have filmic, high flash, long exposure, moody, soft focus, etc. There's a few different options. Then we have a digital art category where you can do 3D model anime, which is really fun, psychedelic, playful concept art. And then we have the fine art category where you can do colored pencil drawings, which are really, really cute actually, ink print, oil painting, paper cut, stained glass, and watercolor. So some really great options there. And then also in the graphics section, we'll look at the styles available there. So we have under simple, we've got doodle, flat outlined, line art, monoline, organic, sketch, and sticker. Then we have the artistic category with a few different options there. There's the kind of cool options where you can do things that look like lino cuts or risographs. There is a vintage one, which is really a nice option for vintage looking aesthetic. And then there's this detailed section where you can do like a 3D chrome, an airbrush look, a scrapbook look. So it's really fun to play around with all those options. And again, depending on the type of clip art you want to make, that will dictate the style that you end up using. But for today's purposes, what I'm going to try is the images section. And then for my style, I think what I'll try is the actual watercolor option, because that was part of the prompt that I created, was the word watercolor was in there. So hopefully that will generate some options that fit what I'm looking for today. So then as far as the prompt here, what I'm going to do next is go back over to ChatGPT and just copy that first prompt that we generated. So I've just populated that box here with that first prompt, and I do want it to be a square image, so I'm going to leave it at that. And then I'm just going to hit generate images. Okay, so here's what Magic Media has come up with, and it always generates a set of 4 images. So you can use one of them, you can use all of them. I kind of like the looks of this 4th one here. So I'm going to click on that, and that brings it into our document. I'm going to size that up so we can have a better look at it. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So it does have that nice sort of soft, kind of imperfect watercolor feel I was looking for. I like that he's in front of these presents here. I like that he's wearing a kind of Christmas looking scarf. I'm not crazy about these background elements. And if I'm looking again at our prompt, it does mention tiny golden stars painted with a faded vintage texture. Let's add another page and add this 3rd one in and size that up as well to have a look at it. And again, it has those kind of little shapes in the background that they're not terrible, but I'm not super crazy about them. I think out of all of these, I still like this first one the best. And again, I'm not crazy about those little elements. I might want to get rid of them. So how I can do that is just click on the image, hit edit, and then Magic Eraser in Magic Studio. And then I can adjust the brush size here, but I don't really need to. I'm just going to go over all of those elements that I don't love and then just hit erase. Perfect. Just like that, we've gotten rid of anything I don't like in the illustration. So I think this is the one we'll use. And I'm going to size this down a little bit and just click on the background and add a color to the background. So as we can see, this does have a white background to our image. And like I was saying before, you could sell this as is with a white background, but what you can also do is easily erase the background and sell this with a transparent background to your customers. So to do that with that selected, we would just come up here and hit background remover. Perfect. And now we can see if we zoom in, it has erased the background completely and it's left us with some really nice clean edges, which is what we're after. So I'm really happy with that being our first image. I'm just going to change that background back to white so it's not distracting. And then what I would do is size this up so it fills up our square quite nicely. And something like that looks great. And like I said, you could keep all of these other image generations to include in your bundle, but I think I'm just going to delete those for now and move on to our next prompt. So I'll head back over to ChatGPT and grab that. So I'll go back and then I'll paste in that new prompt. For the styles, again, I'm going to choose our watercolor option to keep it consistent, and I'm going to hit generate images. Okay, so here we go. We have a few really cute looking options. I'm thinking this first one looks the best to me out of all of them, and I'm going to size that up. I think that's really, really cute. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see the details. Again, we have these kind of floating random shapes, so you could do what we did last time and go in and erase those. I kind of like them in this image, so that will be something that you can decide image per image. And then again, I'm going to want to erase the background on this, so I'll hit background remover. Perfect, and now we have that ready to be a transparent image. I'm going to size that up a little bit and center it. And that's looking really good. And I think it fits nicely with our fox character here. And it's just different enough that it has the same theme, but there is a little bit of difference in the images themselves. And now I'm just going to repeat that process for a few more of our prompts. I think these are pretty cute. I'm thinking maybe The candle being included is a little bit weird. I think AI has interpreted this candle lantern prompt and just kind of gotten confused about the lantern part of it. So what I might do is just remove the reference to the candle entirely and hit generate again, because it seems like all of the images have that candle in it and it just looks a bit strange. So I'm going to hit generate again. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that first image, and I think these are looking pretty cute actually. I think maybe this one here is the cutest one. Quite simple, but I like it, and it fits the Christmas theme. He just has a nice little garland wreath around his ears and a nice simple stack of Christmas presents beside him. So I think that works quite well. So I'm just going to remove the background here and size this one up a little bit so it fills up more of our page. And I think you kind of get the idea in terms of how we're generating these images inside of Canva. And as always with AI, you do kind of have to play around quite a bit, change your prompts up if they're not working, regenerate the images if something weird like that candle or the candy canes was happening, and just really work with the AI to end up with something that you actually think works well for your purposes. So I'm not going to do all 10 because, again, I think you get the idea. So what I'm going to do from here is download these, and then I'm going to bring them over to Kittl, which is what I use to upscale my images. So let's do that next. So we're just going to come up here to share, to download. I do want to do all 3 pages, and we would be doing all 10 if I had done all 10 of our prompts. We do want it to be a PNG. We want it to have a transparent background, and 4000 by 4000 is a good size, so I'll just hit download, and then we'll head over to Kittl and we'll upscale these images so we have a really nice high quality file to deliver to our customers. Okay, so here in Kittl, I'm creating a new project, and I want to set the DPI to 300 because we want a really nice quality file to deliver to our customers, and I'm going to size it to match our original images at 4000 by 4000, and then I'll just hit create, and then I'm going to bring in the first of our PNGs we created in Canva. Great, and then I'm going to size that up to fit nicely within our artboard. Perfect. And what I'm going to do is make sure we have a transparent background to work with. So I've just clicked on the artboard. I'm coming over here to layers, and then I'm going to click on this background eye icon here to get rid of our background entirely. Great. And then I'm going to click on the image of the fox itself, and I'm going to come over here to upscale and click on that. Great. And what that's done is just make sure that our image is at a really high quality so that when our customers are using it and they're printing on something a bit larger, like a t-shirt or something like that, the image will be of high enough quality to not be pixelated or blurry or something like that. And I do use Kittl to do this because I have a Kittl subscription, but there are other tools you can use online to upscale your PNGs quite easily. A lot of free programs out there, but I personally feel like the combination of Kittl and Canva is amazing. I have subscriptions to both, and I use both of them daily, and they do work nicely in conjunction with each other. So that's what I would suggest if you really want to get into this digital art game. Having both subscriptions is a real lifesaver. And I did just want to show you real quick the difference in the image quality once you have upscaled them. So this image on the right here was the original one that we just downloaded straight from Canva, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see, you know, it's not terrible quality. But then if we do the same thing on this one, which is the upscaled image that we downloaded then from Kittl, and I'm going to zoom in the exact same amount, hopefully you can see the difference here of how much more clear this image that we've upscaled is than this one. So it is an important step when you're selling clip art is to consider the quality of the file that you're giving your customer, because they may want to print it on something quite large. So just something to keep in mind, it is a noticeable difference. So then I would just repeat this process for the next images. I would just come here and create another artboard and then size it to 4000 by 4000 over here. And then again, drag in our second image. Our little deer here, and then we'll size our deer up again to fit nicely within our artboard here. I'm going to get rid of the background again. There we go. And then I'm going to click on the deer and hit upscale. Great, that's looking really good, nice and crisp. And I'll do that one more time for our third image. And you would just keep repeating this process for all of the images in your clip art bundle. Like so, and now we have our clip art set. And again, you would be doing this for, say, if you want to do a set of 10 or more, just keep repeating this process, all parts of the process, until you have as many images as you want to be in your bundle here. But Kittle does a really great job of just upscaling the images so we have high quality files to deliver to our customer. And then what I would do from here is come up here to the export button and just export all of the artboards at 4000 by 4000 at 300 dpi. We want to remove the background, we want to optimize quality, and then we would hit download. And from there, you would either deliver your files to your customer on Etsy by zipping them in two separate files and including them as a direct download when they purchase, or creating a Google Drive folder that when you sold your item on Etsy, they would receive a PDF file with a link to that Google Drive folder, and they'd be able to download their images from there. And I will be doing another video very, very soon on that part of the process, so stay tuned for that. So I hope this video has helped to generate some ideas for you to create your own clip art bundles using Canva. What kind of clip art are you thinking of making? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're looking for more inspiration on digital products to sell on Etsy, check out this video next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.